It is bowl day. Today we're going to make some bowls. Okay? All different types of bowls. Okay, we have a bowl there. We have another one there. Another one here. Okay, bowls. And this is the one that we're going to make today. Okay? So, yarn inside, nothing on the outside. Follow me over to the next section of the video and we'll get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stitch with Rick. Today we're going to take a little break from quilting and do some rope bowls. So here are a few examples. We have a little pink bowl. This one is done with the rope and fabric. So I've covered the rope with fabric, and on this bowl I used a pink thread on the top thread and a purple thread on the bobbin thread. Okay, so that's one example. Here's another bowl. Okay, and I'll do some close-up shots. But in this one, you can see I embroidered in the middle. Used some rope, used some fabric on the rope for a little color. And then up top, put the little circles. And then we'll go ahead and show you over here a little closer. You can see my little loops on the outside, and then let's see if we can see the embroidery on the inside. Okay, so that's basically how we do the embroidery. We make part of the bowl first, stop, embroider it, and then put it back on the machine and start sewing again. Okay, here's another one without the little top frills on it. Okay, we got a little decorative holder on the side. Okay, and this is just another plain one. This, I used yarn on the top, inside. So the color's on the inside, but it's still the plain manila on the outside. Okay, and then I made a little knot right here, which you probably can't see that, so we'll go over to here. See the little knot on it. Okay, so you can make all decorative little things like that and whatnot. And then you get a little more fancier. If you want, you can make your bowl. You can add the loops, and then you can go with 2 more or 3 more rope lines on top of that. Okay, let's go back in here. Let's see that closer. See, I did the little loops right there. And then I just went back and continued with 3 more rows of the rope. So your possibilities are endless. You can go wherever you want to. The bowl we're going to make today is this multicolored bowl right here. I'm hoping you can see it. I'll get a little closer. A little multicolored bowl. And that is with the yarn on the inside, nothing on the outside. So we still have the same color. I'll get a closer shot. So inside of it, you can see these, all the different colors right here. That's all yarn inside. Okay, and then when you look at the outside, there's no yarn. And I'm using a variegated yarn. Put it up close so you can see. So the yarn is this variegated yarn right here. Okay, no problem. Put that in the back. Alrighty. So, the tools that you're going to need is you will need your rope. I got this from Walmart. It was like $8 for how many yards of it? It is 100 feet of rope, which I basically used for this bowl. Not even all of it. Okay, need some tacky glue. I just use a little bit of that for the beginnings and the ends. Painter's tape or frog tape or whichever tape that you want to use. Scissors. Okay. some pins, and the fancy attachment of a straw that I have cut down. Let's see. So when I cut the straw down, you can see it's only a piece of a straw. Okay? That's where our thread is going to go through and be a guide. Okay? Alrighty. And then what I did, I made a little jig for my machine out of 2 pieces of cardboard. Doesn't stand up high, but it's high enough to make a guide for my rope bowls. And that's going to end up sitting in my machine. I'll show you where I'm going to put that in a minute. Alright, so let's get started making a bowl. Alright, and what we'll do is we'll go from overhead. Alright, so you're going to grab your rope. Okay, and you want to unwind a lot of the rope. Just unwind, because you're going to use all of it. Just keep unwinding. Okay. And what I do is I throw mine on the floor. Okay. Now, I want to make sure I have no knots. So I'm going to do it both ways. Okay. Alrighty. Now, your end of your rope, they have burnt it, so it won't unravel. You actually want to go ahead and cut a little snip of it off. And once you cut it off, you're then going to slide the cotton back, which will, let me do it on smaller camera. And then you'll pull the insides of it out a little bit. See this nylon? That we're just going to cut off. Here's our cotton that we're going to use. Okay, so we're going to stretch that out. We're going to cut that off. Okay. Get rid of that. All right, and then we're going to pull that sleeve back out so that in the end here, you don't have any of that filler. So we can then turn it, okay? So what you want to do to start is you're going to take your thread, or rope, excuse me. I put a little bit of glue on the end of it, just a little bit to keep those little frayed edges together. Yeah, your hands are going to get a little sticky. Okay, so I put that on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then coil this around. This is hard to see, but you're going to start the roll of it. Let's see if I can go to the closer camera. Okay, so you can see here I've got the start of a little roll. And I'm just going to roll it some more just to get us started. See how we're making that circle? Just keep on going. Keep it nice and tight. Make sure you hold on to it. Okay? So there you can see we got the start of the bottom of the bowl. Alright, and what I do is I take some pins and I just go right through the outer ones. Right through the outer ones to hold that in place. So that's 2 across there. And we'll do another one right through the middle. That way, so you can let go of it now and you're still held together. Okay? So now that you've got your start, what we're going to do is we're going to zigzag stitch across this a couple of times to keep this start together so we take the pins out and then we can continue. Okay, so I'm using zigzag stitch and I'm using just a regular open foot, and I have got my width set to 4.5 millimeters on the zigzag. Okay, so let's bring it to the machine. Okay, and remember, you do not want to sew your pins, so just be very careful. Okay, so we're gonna lower our foot, just do a little stay stitch. Then I'll do my zigzag across it. Okay. So all the way to the last one. Okay, then I'm gonna stop. I leave my needle down. Pressure foot came up, and I'm gonna go back across a little bit off to the other side. And again, watch your pins that you don't hit a pin. Okay. Now that I've got two, now I've got this spot right here that I'm just gonna go down again. Just to make sure it all stays together. Alrighty, so now we're at the end. And we're gonna go ahead and cut that thread. Sorry, mine does a back stitch and then cuts. Okay, so now, let me cut my little thread off. Okay, so now this is what you've ended up with. Okay, little thread there. Now you can take your pins out because you're sewn together now. Okay? Alrighty. So now that we've got this part done, what we are going to do is we're going to have to stitch it around and 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 around, and you're just going to keep on going around, okay? Alright, so what we're going to start with is go back to our machine, and when you're doing the stitching, you want to have, let's see if I can get something to point with. You want to have this middle seam right here where the two pieces of rope join in the middle is going to be right in the middle of your foot. And you have a line on your foot, that's the middle, okay? So what I do, put this over there, is I have made this little jig, which is just two pieces of cardboard, which I think came from bias tape that I bought. And I'm going to put that right on my machine, and we're going to butt this up against so that we do see that we're right in the middle. No, you can't see that, but I can see that. Okay? So that's where we're going to tape this. I'm going to tape this down. Okay? Now, when I tape mine down, slide it back a little bit. Okay? I put the majority of the board down onto this lid over here. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so I've taped it down. And taped it across there. Okay. That's one there. And then I'm going to tape it on the front side because we don't want it moving. Okay. Now, our bobbin's going to run out at some point in time. We have to get underneath there. But that's why we only remove that one piece of tape. Then we can flip it back, change our bobbin. All right. So that's how we're going to start it. But where's the color, you say? You say we need the color in the middle. Okay. That's where our yarn's going to come into play. Okay. I already have it off the ball a lot. So we are going to take this and we're going to run this over the top of the machine. And once it goes over the top, we're going to take our little straw that we've cut and thread it through that straw. Okay, so that way it pulls down through the straw. All right, and then we're going to get a piece of tape. Okay, and let's see, can you see this? Yes, I'm going to tape my straw right on the front of the machine. Okay. And that way my thread will come from the back. Actually, I'm going to put my thread through here. Okay. So now, let's see, can you see that? Okay. So now our thread's going to come down out of that straw, and we're going to go, we're not going to go into the needle, the thread or anything. We're going to push this right into the start of our zigzag stitch, okay? So now if I start, go in a circle. Now I go slow to start. Okay. Alright. Alrighty. So, if you can see it, my thread is coming down and it's going right under the presser foot, and we're just going to start going. Okay, and when we go, you can see on here, I'm turning it. And that yarn is staying right on top. Okay? So we just start turning and stitching and stitching and stitching and stitching. And with that little jig in there, it works perfect. Okay? And you just watch your thread and just take it nice and slow, and you just start turning. Okay, and watching that center point is going under the needle and catching both sides and the middle. Alright? Okay. Now I'm finding that my thread, my yarn's wanting to go over this way a little bit, so I'm going to move my little straw over some. Okay, now we'll try it again. Alright. And that's it. You're just going to keep on going around and around and around until you get the bottom made. Let's see how far I can go here. See, everything is keeping in place right where it's supposed to be. Until then. Okay. Alright, so just going to keep on going around. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue this around. We'll come back when I start the curve. So right now I'm just going to build it out to about 5 inches probably, and then start my bowl sides. So we shall be right back. See how it's just falling right into place? I'm just watching my rope, watching my yarn, and just rotating using our guide to help us keep it in position. Okay, and then you just go round and round and round and round and round and round and round until you decide you want to stop and start with the walls going up. Okay, so we'll come back in a minute and we'll be even further. Okay, so now that we have gotten ourselves pretty much as wide as we want to get for the base, now we're going to start with the sides of the bowl. You know, going up the sides. And in order to do that, first we have the bottom already done right here. What we're going to do is we're going to start to tilt it so that we're going to push this bottom up against the machine and then keep on going in the circle, which is going to make our wall, which is going to move the bowl away from the machine. Okay? So, let's bring you down below, and we'll start with that. Okay, so now you can see I am bending this top, the bottom, up to the top of the machine, right there. And we're just going to keep on stitching and going in a circle, making sure our yarn is staying in the middle. And our 2 ropes are being sewn evenly. And we're just going to keep on going and going. In the beginning, you'd be like, it's not turning, it's not making the walls, but it will. Just keep on going. It takes a few rounds to get it to start making a wall. Okay, and then make sure you got enough rope. We do. We're just gonna keep on going. Okay, and we're always bending that back up towards the machine. Okay. And it will take a couple times. You'll get better and better. You don't have to put the yarn in. If you don't want to do the yarn, just do the plain rope. You can get rope that comes in different colors. Or you can wrap the fabric in it. We'll do another video with wrapping the fabric in it. But for now, see how easy it is. That we're just going around and around and around. And magically, our yarn is staying right where it's supposed to stay. And this guide over here is keeping everything together when we're turning it. So it's mindless, really. You just keep on going around and around. You can stop wherever you want. If you want to stop here, it's a little bowl with a little edge on it. You can make coasters, you can, do whatever you want. But I want to keep on going and make another little bowl. Okay, so we're just going to keep this on and we're going to keep on going. And going. Alright, so you get the idea. So we'll come back when I've got more of the walls done to show you how it's looking. Okay? Alrighty, so I think I've made this one tall enough for what I want it to be. So what we're going to do is we are going to stop sewing, needle down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip my thread, move that out of the way. I'm going to line that up so I can just finish right over the top of it. Okay, so once I get to that point, I am then going to back up. And then I'm going to come forward and do a little tie off and cut. Okay, so now that we've got our bowl, okay, and that was literally a half hour to make that bowl. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to make my little end piece, the circle. And you can see that it's a continuous piece of rope still. It just continues and then goes around. So we're going to actually do it reverse. We're going to start from the middle, make our little round, and then we're going to attach it to the bowl. Okay? So in order to do that, we want to figure out how much rope we want to use, because I don't want a really big one on there. I think I just want it down, you know, maybe 2 inches wide. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to cut the rope, okay? Then it's got the poly in there. I'm going to cut that little bit off. Get it over there. Pull it back out. Okay, now we've got our little frayed ends. Let me switch over to this camera and you can see better. Okay, so our frayed ends are right there. We're going to take a little bit of the glue and just put it on there. Not a whole lot, just enough to keep those ends together. Okay, squeeze it. Nice and sticky tacky. Okay. And then we're going to fold that over. And again, we're going to do that little roll thing again. All right. Now this, we're going to leave it small right now. Okay. See how small that is? Because I want to put thread in there, the yarn again, to make it go around. So once again, I'm going to take my pin. That's a bent one there. Okay, we're going to go straight through it, just to hold it together. Okay, so you can see there, we have it held together with the pin. Okay, now we're going to take our yarn back down. And I'm going to actually put a little bit of glue on the end of my yarn. Okay, and you got to remember which way you're going too, so you want to put it on this side. So put that on there. So I'm gonna actually do a little zigzag stitch on here. Okay, now I'm gonna turn it and hopefully start with my curve again. Okay. All right. So it's a little harder here because it's so small, but I wanted that yarn to be in the beginning. So just taking our time, get it in there, little by little, and then you can start zipping through it again. Okay. I'm getting there. Let's see, on there. Okay. Okay. This is the tedious part. You still want it to rotate. In your little circle. It's hard to handle right now because it's so small. But once we get it a little bigger to come out the other side, then we've got something to hold on to. Okay. Alright, there we go. I'm getting there, and you can see this rope is still attached to this bowl. So I'm just going to roll it all the way until I get to the bowl. Just make sure that yarn stays in the middle. Okay. see what's going on. Getting caught on top there. Okay. And we just keep on going around and around and around and around. We're getting close to the basket. See, we only have that little bit left. So we're going to keep on going. Making sure we're keeping that yarn in the middle. Okay, keep on going. See my bowl getting closer to my needle there. Okay. And I think that's as far as we're going to go. See how much space we have? Just that little bit of space there. So we're going to go ahead and back it up. Tie it off. Okay, bring it out. All right, so there you have your medallion. And it's still attached. See how it's attached? So now I'm going to cut this thread a little bit longer, because I'm going to tuck it behind my little rosette there. Okay. So just cut it. Alrighty. So there's the length that I left. Okay. Alright, so now we will take this and we want the emblem. I'm going to tuck the yarn behind it and put it on there. Let's see if I can get a close shot. See, so we'll just take this. I put the yarn behind it and we're going to put it right on the bowl. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little glue on the back of it, on the yarn. Okay, so a little glue on the yarn, and then we're going to do it. We're going to do it that way. So I'm going to put some glue on the back side of my little rosette. Okay. So now we've got it glued, and we're just going to arrange it how we want it. Okay. I think I want mine to be partially up. See how it's partially up there? Maybe half and half. How's that look? I think we'll do half and half. Okay? So now I am going to pin it right across the bottom there, just to hold it in place. And I'm just sticking the pins in it, you know, just like this, just to hold it in place, because I'm going to stitch across the top here, making sure I get back on the back part too. Okay, so I'm going to take my guide off now. I don't need that anymore. So take that off. And yep, get new tape next time. I got a little tape on the machine here. Okay. Alright, so now we're just going to take our bowl, set it right on top. Okay, where I know that my top row is going to be covered. So I'm going to start back on the first part. Okay. And we just went right across the top. We'll go back. Okay. And that is it. It's on. It's good. Cut my little threads off. Alrighty. And there we have our bowl. Okay? So the color's on the inside. No color on the outside. Alright. Let's see. Do it up close here. Color on the inside. It's in the bowl. And then nothing on the back. Alright. So that's basically your rope bowl. Okay? You can make it bigger, smaller, more narrow, oblong, or round if you want just a big table topper. Big round one. Alright, now I'm going to take this camera and I'm going to show you how I have this set up. So, hold on. Unhook this camera. Okay. Alright, so my setup. Okay, so here was my glue that I used. Turbo tacky glue. It dries pretty quick. Okay. Here, you can see my yarn in the back. It's in the bowl. I have it coming across here, across the top of my machine, into my straw that I just have taped on there. Use painter's tape. Don't use anything, no masking tape or duct tape or anything like that. And then my thread goes down and into the needle. Yeah, I mean, don't thread it through the needle. Underneath the foot, that's it. Your regular thread is in your needle. Okay? And here is our finished product. Okay? We have the bowl. And we have our little rosette right there. And the back of the bowl is all nice and clean. Okay, so now I can show you the other ones too up close maybe. All right, here's the other one that I did the embroidery on. Okay, so it's embroidered down there. And then I used fabric in some of them, the rows. Okay, and then the top I just made those little curly cues. All right. Alright, so here's the same bowl, same embroidery, blue fabric, different little rosette on top. I put it on the outside so that you can see the whole thing on the outside. Okay? And then the rest are just the bowls, the regular bowls. Here's the one with the little rim on it. Okay? With its rosette standing on edge. And that's it. That's how to make a rope bowl. Probably, maybe your first one 45 minutes or so when you start sewing. Then you can get it down to a half hour. This one I took probably an hour to make with the little swirls in it. These were just a few minutes. And then you can also learn how to make this little rosette itself here. It's a Chinese knot. I cannot remember the name of it, but I'm sure everybody else knows what it is. And that's it. You can just have fun with them all. Okay? So that is our quick little video for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit like and hit subscribe. And if you touch that little bell up there, you'll be notified whenever I make new videos and the new videos come out. It'll send you a message saying, hey, Stitch with Rick has a new video. So that's it for today. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you on the next one.